Hi folks, just wanted to come and give you another update. Sorry I've been quiet for the last few days. I've just been incredibly busy and I've actually been sleeping a lot. Just needed to catch up. And I wanted to bring you another walk and talk, but it's kind of miserable and rainy, so I haven't been able to do that either. But I wanted to come and give you a bit of an update on what's going on today. I wish I had some positive news for you, but the world is continuing to bend furthermore out of shape. I mean, there is some positive news in as much as there is a lot of pushback that we're seeing from people. There's protests everywhere. A lot of people are writing to ministers. I mean, so much of the media is having to put out hit pieces and, do news articles to tell you not to listen to the conspiracy theorists. As we saw with Jacinda Ardern the other day, I played for you on the last report that I gave you. I'll see if I can find it again here in case you missed it. I'm sure you probably saw it, but I'll grab it anyway. But Jacinda Ardern was saying that we must remember to dismiss all sources that we hear, dismiss all rumours, and remember that the government will remain your single source of truth. It was the most bizarre thing you've ever heard a politician say, and of course an act of sheer desperation because so many people are waking up to the fact that they're being scammed.
We will share with you the most up-to-date information daily. You can trust us as a source of that information. You can also trust the Director General of Health and the Ministry of Health. For that information, do feel free to visit at any time to clarify any rumour you may hear, covid19.govt.nz. Otherwise, dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth.
Dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth. An amazing thing to hear coming from a parasite like Jacinda Ardern. And there was also a piece from Channel 9 here in Australia. I'll just play you the intro and you'll see the theme that they're setting. They're terribly scared that people are paying attention to the many conspiracy theories out there. And of course, they're not conspiracy theories. It's just anything that goes against the official narrative they're calling a conspiracy theory. But have a look at the beginning of this report. As I said, you can see the stage they're setting.
Unfortunately, received a lot of communication from these conspiracy theorists myself. It is complete nonsense.
The UK has reported around 50 fires targeting towers and other 5G equipment.
Burning, 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 burning.
So, there's a lot of pushback and they're pushing a lot on the media. They had a conspiracy expert come on the show then to tell you all about why you shouldn't believe the conspiracy theories. But they're not conspiracy theories. On London Real the other day, look at COVID, folks. On London Real the other day, and I don't know, apparently there's a bit of controversy with London Real and Brian Rose. I don't know what's been going on. I haven't really been following it. But I did hear that there was Dr. Buttar there with 106 doctors who are basically all saying this is a hoax. And, this question, all this talk, this doctor's controlled opposition and that doctor's controlled opposition. Some doctors believe different things. Some doctors believe in viruses, some doctors don't. I mean, I don't really care at this stage, folks. What I'm concerned about is that all of the doctors are saying this is a hoax, and that is a good thing. And that's the message we need to get out to people. But there's that, so they need to, combat all of this sort of stuff by putting out these reports. And they're not conspiracy theories at all. The reports that were coming out of the terrible death toll that's happening in Mexico, and actually Jeff Berwick happened to be near Mexico City, so he went to Mexico City to check out the crematoriums because the reports were that there was smoke billowing from the crematoriums 24 hours a day. They just couldn't keep up with the amount of bodies. He went around and checked out all of the crematoriums in Mexico City and found them all to be empty. I think there was only one or two that were even open, and they didn't have any people around at all. He got kind of segues by the guards. They wanted him to go away. I'll play you a tiny little bit of his clip, but I'll put a link below. You can go and check it out. But he went and looked himself, and he proved that the stories of the terrible amounts of bodies and burnings in Mexico is completely and utterly fabricated. Have a look at this.
Last week, Sky News came out with a frightening headline: Coronavirus. Morgues and storage rooms are full of bodies. The true death toll in Mexico City is staggering. They also did a video report stating that crematoriums in Mexico City never stop burning.
The ovens never stop burning. Black smoke billows out from Mexico City's crematorium.
And that hospitals are overflowing with bodies, while claiming their only source for this was an anonymous government official and a few photos of a few body bags in hospitals. Hearing this, and being just outside of Mexico City, I contacted a number of friends in Mexico, and they all claimed that every hospital they have seen is nearly empty, and that there was nothing they knew about to back up these claims.
So he went and had a look, yeah, and good on him. And he proved that that news story is completely and utterly fallacious. I mean, he went there, took video cameras of the crematoriums, and he showed you there's nothing going on. You know, so that's why they're putting out all of these hit pieces, and that's why they're putting out all this stuff, trying to convince people not to look at the bigger picture. Because, you know, they really want to push it, folks, and they are continuing to push it. You know, even in the face of all this, in the face of all the protests that are happening worldwide, we're seeing things like this. Britain's first face mask vending machine launched in Essex, because you've got to have a face mask. The face masks make you sick, folks. They don't make you well, they make you sick. That's the problem. When you're putting a face mask on, you're breathing all your own viruses and bacteria back in all the time. This is where the second wave will come from, because of the complete lack of human contact that we're having, and these face masks they're making everybody wear. You know, and folks, back in the old days, slaves used to wear face masks. Can you see where they're going with this? You know, people who wear these face masks, they've always got their head bowed down. They never want to look you in the eye. It's a way of shaming people, and it's a way of breaking the communication chain with people. You know, keeping people 1.5 meters apart, 2 meters apart. This is terrible. This destroys the human soul. You know, no human contact. The way they're training the kids in school, that report that I showed you the other day of the kids being given their welcome back to school video in Quebec. You know, if you send your child to a school that's doing that, I mean, this is child abuse. This is causing massive psychological abuse to children. This is going to be one of the real tolls that we see from COVID-19. You know, the true toll of COVID-19 is not the death figures that we've been giving at the moment, because most of these people aren't even dying of COVID. There's been a myriad of reports coming out about this, and these are not conspiracy theories. These are coming from government sources and hospital sources themselves. They're telling you themselves that they're recategorizing the deaths. I mean, you can go and hear it from the horse's mouth. We've done so many videos on that. Just go back and look through the playlists. You know, so many people have been doing videos on it. I've done a lot myself. But, you know, in the face of all this, they're rolling out this whole social system, this new social system, and that's what it's about. COVID is just the smokescreen. The whole coronavirus is just the smokescreen for the vaccine and for the surveillance system and the social distancing that they want to bring in and keep in place. The social distancing isn't going to go away. That's why they're saying they're going to release or relax the lockdown a little bit. Not completely shut it down, they're going to relax it. So you can go outside, you can mingle, as long as you stay 1.5 meters apart, because that's how all their surveillance cameras works. And they don't want human contact. You know, and they're training the children not to have human contact. Terrible, terrible things they're doing to the children, folks. There's a report that came out by a man, I think he's an ex-judge in England. His name is Vernon Coleman, and he is absolutely disgraced at what they're doing to the children as well. Have a quick listen to this, because it is, folks. I mean, it's child abuse, as I said on the last report where I talked about this, where I showed you the schools in Quebec. This is child abuse. And, you know, any teacher that is doing this to children and putting this type of psychological abuse in the minds of children, which is what it is, it's psychological abuse, folks. You know, preventing children from playing, keeping them sitting in squares playing on their own, making them stand 1.5 meters apart, no human contact, wearing gloves if they have to go near them. This is psychological abuse. This will cause incredible damage to the minds of these young kids. And any teacher that's supporting this is supporting child abuse. Any parent who sends their children to a school that is doing this to their children, this is child abuse. You're supporting child abuse of your own children. And any politician who is legislating that this is what needs to happen is supporting child abuse and is an abuse of the office they hold and needs to be removed immediately and held accountable for their actions. This cannot be understated, folks, and it cannot be overstated. This must be done. We cannot put up with this type of psychological damage being done to children. Have a listen to what Vernon Cole says, and I'll put a link to this below as well, but just have a listen to a minute or so of this.
Another photo I saw showed children in a classroom sitting yards apart from one another, each child wearing a mask and a plastic visor. This is utter madness. It is also wicked cruelty. Back in the 1970s, I wrote the first popular book on how stress can affect the human mind and body. I would never have imagined that anyone could treat children in such a cold-blooded and damaging way. In the UK, it's now being alleged that if a child falls or has any sort of accident, then they must not be helped by other children or by teachers. The child who falls and grazes a knee will have to attend to it themselves. The child who accidentally wets themselves will have to deal with it alone. No hugs, no caring. Enough. The lunacy has gone far enough. Who in the name of all things holy thinks up these barbaric madnesses? We'll be better off keeping schools permanently closed. Has anyone in authority any idea of the permanent damage this will do to these poor children? Children will be scarred for life by what's already happened to them. We'll be breeding a new race of weirdos, loners and psychopaths.
See, that's the thing, folks. He says, does anyone have any idea of the damage they're doing? That's the thing, they do have every idea of the damage they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, folks. They're separating people and dehumanizing people, mixing the genders, the stuff they're saying as well. You can't have sex. You shouldn't have sex now because sperm may be transmitted. The coronavirus may be transmitted by sperm. Coronavirus found in sperm. Can it be sexually transmitted? Found in semen. So don't you having sex, folks? And they're teaching kids as well that kids who are aged 4 and under should be taught about early childhood masturbation. This is from the World Health Organization, because having sex is dangerous. You don't want to be around other people. You don't want to be touching other people. And, they want to remove the orgasm. So this is why they've got kids sitting there with these laptops on their laps, shriveling up their testicles, killing their ovaries. They want to destroy sexuality. If you want children, you go and buy your children from the exogenesis chambers. This is what they want to do, folks. They want to lead us into the mainframe. But you can't have people who are used to having sex and are used to that side of life. They won't want to go into that virtual world. But if you can do it to the children now, get these young kids, separate them, no human contact, and have them in these environments where all their sexuality is being destroyed. They won't know what it is by the time they reach puberty. They'll just think they're really confused, but they'll be hooked up with the hydrogel. They'll be hooked up to the mainframe. You can see where we're being taken, folks. If we don't nip this in the bud, you can see where they could take it. And that's what a lot of these people don't understand, is that they do know exactly what they're doing. Like I said, the pushback has been huge. We've got federal ministers here being flooded with an unprecedented level of anti-vaccination mail. And all of this sort of stuff is good. I mean, it's good that people are doing this, but we've got to stop complying with the social distancing, stop wearing masks. If I go to a shop and someone demands that I wear a mask, I say, well, excuse me, wearing a mask is bad for my health. If you're claiming I must wear one in order to protect my health, I need you to provide me with proof of claim, because according to all doctors, wearing these masks massively increases the viral load on my body and will eventually make me sick. And so if you're claiming I need to wear a device on my face which is going to make me sick in order to come and shop in your establishment under the pretext that it's actually protecting my health, you need to provide me with proof of claim. And if this has been legislated by a minister saying I must wear this device that damages my health, and he is claiming it is to protect my health or protect other people from me, I require him to provide proof of that claim as well. And if he can't, then he shouldn't be a minister. And if he's taking his advice from our chief medical officer, this guy Brendan Murphy that you saw before, that I've referenced so many times recently, I mean, this idiot, if he is claiming this is what you need to do to protect your health, then he's a fool. He doesn't seem to be qualified to be, testing samples for, feces of rodents in a vet. He shouldn't be looking at any of this stuff and giving a medical opinion of anything, because he's an idiot if this is what he's saying. But of course, he's not really saying that, folks, because this has all been part of the plan. Like I said, this has all been about the vaccinations, and it's been about the social crediting system and the social distancing. And it's a plan that goes way, way back. You can look at the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum, you've got to actually sign up to look at it. I won't go there, but you've got to sign up to look at it. It goes like 32 layers deep, folks. There's an animated picture here that shows you just two of the layers. You get there and you see this on the website. And if you click on one of these, it gives you all these branches, and you click on one of them and it gives you another set of branches. And this goes down 32 layers. And when you go down each layer on this website, it'll give you a little introductory video to tell you what's going on many of the layers. And what they tell you is that the COVID-19 response plan will be carried out by multiple actors, note the word actors, from all different fields, from politics, from the media, from the health system, all different fields, from the legal system, and they are going to stage this whole event, and they're going to run this whole thing out. And this has been a plan, and they say on one of the introductory videos, they say this is a plan that has taken 50 years to prepare for. So what we're seeing right now has been 50 years in the making. They know exactly what they're doing. And it isn't about protecting your health, folks. Recently here in Australia, they banned the sale of hydroxychloroquine. Now, hydroxychloroquine is a malaria drug. It's been used for all sorts of stuff. It's quite a common medicine. It's been around for years. They've banned it because people are claiming that it's curing COVID-19. Oh, we can't have that then. We need to ban it. If this was a real pandemic, this is a common treatment, hydroxychloroquine. This has been used for malaria, all sorts of things. It works for some colds. I mean, people have used it for all sorts of things for a long time. It's a common drug. You can go and buy it anywhere. Now they've banned it. You can only get it on prescription. If this was a real pandemic, they'd be wanting people to do anything they can to boost their immune systems. They'd be wanting you to have massive amounts of vitamin C. They'd be wanting you to have supplies of hydroxychloroquine. Hey, if it works and it's making you feel better, good, take some. If it's a real pandemic, they'd be doing everything they can to save the people. But they're not. They're doing everything they can to make the people sick so they can have their second wave. And what's the second wave going to be, folks? Well, it's going to be anything, because they're recategorizing all diseases now. I mean, virtually anything is coronavirus now. And they're giving us all of these things about why are all these weird symptoms. It's taken until now. Why are COVID-19's weirdest symptoms only emerging now? Things like inflamed brains, toe rashes and strokes. Well, I would say that they're only emerging now as weird symptoms because they're clutching at straws trying to find something that they can claim is COVID-19. So they're really reclassifying everything. Toe rashes, folks. Get a little bit of tinea on your foot. It's COVID-19, folks. Have a stroke, COVID-19. Isn't because you had anything wrong with your brain. It's COVID-19. Inflamed brains, meningitis, all this sort of stuff. It's not any of that anymore, folks. It's now COVID-19. All this stuff is COVID-19. Do you know that even vomiting and diarrhea could be symptoms of coronavirus? Warns health experts. Could be symptoms. Vomiting and diarrhea. I mean, folks, vomiting and diarrhea are two of the most common things that you get when you're feeling ill. I mean, it's like that Simpsons episode of the virus when he said, symptoms include, mild hunger, tiredness at night. Anything can be a symptom of coronavirus. And of course, they're developing new on-the-spot testing for coronavirus. And police could be used to enforce spot checks on people that are determined that they should be at home under quarantine. And they're taken to the next level here in Australia as well. They've got thermal cameras coming in here in Australia to check your temperature when you go, well, when you go almost anywhere. Check this out.
As coronavirus restrictions begin to ease, smart technology designed to keep us safe is ramping up.
Safe.
Cameras which
Keep you
can spot
safe.
one
Let me
of
just play
COVID's
that again,
main
folks. I shouldn't be talking through it.
Will soon be virus
keep you safe. You know, restrictions ease. They don't end, they ease. And all of this has been done to keep you safe. Have a listen.
As coronavirus restrictions begin to ease, smart technology designed to keep us safe is ramping up. Cameras which can spot one of COVID's main symptoms will soon be rolled out across the country.
Main symptoms.
It's incredible technology, and in a coronavirus world, it'll be the new norm. You're looking at a thermal imaging camera, which can remotely and quickly check for a potential fever.
So you'll notice that the crosshair at the top there is actually looking for that forehead surface area and getting that temperature of his forehead.
The cameras can be wall mounted or placed on a tripod. There's even a handheld device, and soon you'll see them at the entrances to places many of us visit all the time.
Look, I think we'll see them everywhere pretty much. Aged care, independent living, schools, hospitals, pubs, clubs.
The cameras, which measure the heat our bodies are radiating, are accurate to within half a degree. If your temperature is under about 37.5, then you're good to go. But not everyone will get the green light. To give you an idea of what would happen when someone walks in with a temperature, I've got a cup of hot water in my hand. I hold it up to my forehead, the system registers that my temperature's too high, and an alarm sounds.
Temperature is abnormal, please check.
If a possible fever is detected, that person's temperature would need to be double checked. After that, it's up to each site as to what comes next.
Whether they send the person home, whether they put them into a cab or an Uber, get them to a doctor.
Thermal imaging cameras have already been rolled out at St Vincent's Hospital.
If they're just simply a visitor, we will turn them around and ask them to go and see their GP.
It's likely the cameras will also be used to protect the vulnerable in aged care, with safety organisation Care Protect demonstrating the technology to major providers across the country.
It's critical that they receive the visitation from their relatives and families, but we've also got to make sure that those premises are safe.
Natalia Cooper, 9 News.
They've got to make sure those premises are safe. Probably safe like the aged care home in Michigan, where there was a guy by the name of Jaden Hayden who was caught beating up elderly. He likes to film it on his camera. He just punches an old man while they're lying prone in bed. You know, this guy looks like he's about 80 years old. I've got a video of it. I'll put a link below. It's in my favourites. You can go and check it out. I would play you some of it here, but it's too disturbing to even want to play it. I'd like to have this guy's name and address, though, this sack of shit masquerading as a human being who is not a human being. He's just a sack of shit. And these type of psychopaths that populate our society these days, it's disgraceful, folks. But this is what's happening in nursing homes. And maybe not all of them, but it's certainly happening in the nursing homes where this guy is going. And no doubt if he had died from that beating that he suffered on that day, they probably would have put him down as a COVID patient. That wouldn't surprise me at all, folks. And you know, all of this has been done, all this lockdown, everything that's been done has been done, of course, at the will of this man who has got every single thing he's ever done wrong. You know, every prediction he's ever made has been completely and utterly wrong. And the world has been shut down because of the predictions of this man. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So when you've got morons such as our Prime Minister, this traitorous cretin, Scott Morrison. Yes, Scott Morrison, you're a traitorous cretin, and again, I accuse you of treason. You're a liar, you're a moron. You've shut this entire country down under the behest of this moron, and under the behest, at the behest of this other moron, Brendan Murphy, who seems to be somehow in bed with this idiot, and who doesn't even know what a virus is. It would appear, like I said, Brendan Murphy doesn't have the credentials to be anything, certainly not the chief medical officer. But they want to lead us into a new future, folks. You know, we're told all the hospitals are crowded and it's terrible, and you know, we've got to go out and cheer the medical industry on and cheer all the nurses on. But like I said, you know, the hospitals are empty, and the real toll of the coronavirus, the real toll of this, are going to be the people, like thousands of cancer patients who aren't getting their treatment at hospitals. Thousands of people aren't going to hospitals, aren't getting the drugs they need, aren't getting the things they need to survive because the hospitals have been shut down pretty well because of this terrible coronavirus outbreak, which isn't even real. You know, there are no people in the hospitals. Actually, in the UK, there were some people that went to a hospital all waiting for scans. They were waiting for about 30 minutes, apparently. I don't know who this video comes from. It was sent to me by someone, and I don't know how to link it, so I'm just going to show it to you. But there were some people who went to a hospital. They were all waiting for scans, waiting for someone to show up. They're in the emergency department or whatever, the outpatients area, and there's no staff. There's just nobody around. They ended up going into the staff area and getting into the elevators and going downstairs and looking for the staff back in the staff areas in the hospital corridors, trying to find some staff to come and look for them. And what they found was a whole bunch of staff downstairs practicing dance routines with mops. They've been waiting upstairs for these scans for 20 to 30 minutes, and there was all of the hospital staff downstairs practicing dance routines. You know what's going on here, folks? I mean, are we living in two different realities or something, alternate universes where, you know, these people are seeing one reality and we're seeing another? I mean, I don't know what's going on with these people, folks, but have a look at this.
Watch this space.
So I'll just go to go upstairs.
Really curious. I'm really curious. That's why we've been waiting so long. We were down here with a bunch of mops.
They are mugging the system.
Been in the hospital, what? I'm mocking it. I'm like... Do you need to get through? Is this really happening? Am I really witnessing this?
I need to do my own too.
Yeah. I've seen it all now. That's enough. I don't want to see no more.
She doesn't even want to see anymore. And now one doctor is asking her, and the nurse is asking her, do you need to get through? Just oblivious to what they're even doing. Absolutely incredible, folks. COVID, folks. It's COVID. But this is what's actually going on. Yeah, they don't care about us. They don't care about anything. And the true toll of this COVID crisis has yet to come. You know, the economic toll is going to be phenomenal. So many people have lost their jobs. So many people are out of work. The food shortages are going to be over the top. And the food shortages are starting now in some places. There's food shortages happening now, I believe, in, I think it's in Chile. I think there are food riots happening in Chile. Let me just have a quick look in here and see if I can find this video clip. Here you go, have a look at this.
coronavirus pandemic is taking a dramatic turn in Chile, where tensions are rising over food shortages and unemployment caused by the lockdown. Military forces have been deployed in the capital amid clashes between locals and police. It comes as increasing numbers of people say they're going hungry and are desperate for help.
I have 4 children. I don't receive any help from the government because I have my own business, so they don't help me. That's why many people here who are small entrepreneurs do not get any help.
No, I'm a taxi driver. I can't make a living because which passengers can I pick up?
You see, it's happening everywhere, folks, and it's coming to our countries as well. That's the thing. If people don't pay attention, it's coming to our countries as well. Under the whim of this guy, who got caught breaking his own lockdown rules and going out and having an affair with a married woman. I mean, yeah, great guy. But as I said, folks, the thing is that they don't care about us. You know, this whole plan that's unfolding now is a plan that has been long in the making, and it's a depopulation event. They just have to be subtle about it because they want to depopulate without the rebellion, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. You know, people being locked down, I mean, see the way the people were being treated in Chile. They're just wanting food. You know, they're out there, they've got a force to be throwing rocks at armoured police vehicles, and you've got police there using water cannon on them, telling them to go home. They're simply hungry. There's no food. And it's not just there, it's happening in other places as well. And it's going to be happening in the United States soon. We're going to have it here, probably not as bad as we'll see in the United States, but we will see food shortages here as well. Everything's going up. I mean, the prices of everything are going up dramatically. The prices of airfares are also going up dramatically. You know, a couple of months ago, people were commenting that, you know, it was incredibly cheap to fly. Of course it was, because there was no one taking the air flights. But now it's changing. Now the social distancing that's coming in planes, the planes are being forced to cut their passenger load down by about 2/3 because of social distancing, which is ridiculous. I believe you've also got to wear masks on the plane now, which is completely absurd, wearing masks on a plane. I mean, the air on a plane is recycled. It doesn't matter what you're breathing everybody else's air. That's the way it is. You know, someone has strong perfume on a plane, you can smell it through the whole plane. Someone farts on a plane, everybody on the plane smells it because the air's recycled. These masks will do nothing on a plane. All they will do will damage your airwaves. They will make you sick while you're flying. I mean, flying should come with a health warning anyway. If you've got to wear a mask while you're flying, it's going to be 10 times worse. You know, so the airlines, the prices are skyrocketing. Flights here in Australia, just domestic flights you could usually fly from here to Melbourne for like $150. Now it costs about $1,000 to fly to Melbourne from here. You know, the borders are still closed. They're arguing over whether they're going to be opening the borders or not. The New South Wales Premier wants to open the borders and the Queensland Premier wants to keep them closed till September. Note the key word of September. The second wave will be in September, folks, around about September. You know, don't forget the October surprise, you know. But then, of course, they'll be able to blame us. They'll be able to blame the premiers who wanted to ease the lockdown, because they're only talking about easing the lockdown, remember. They're not ending the lockdown, they're just easing it because they want the social distancing to stay in place. The social distancing is what it's all about. The social distancing and the vaccines. You know, and as I said earlier, they want to remove us of our sexuality, remove the orgasm, merge us into this gender-neutral type society so we can be merged into the mainframe. A lot of the older people won't want to do it, but if they can get the children and program them through school, through the prison system they've introduced at schools, and completely isolate them from all human activity, I mean, God knows what they'll do to these kids during the school time. whether they'll be giving them other vaccines, who knows what they'll be doing to these children. In that sort of an environment, you really should not be sending your children to these schools, folks. But what they want to do, there's a group of people who live on this earth who wear small hats, and they believe that the earth should be theirs and theirs alone. And they want to kill everybody else, but they want to have fun while they're doing it. These people believe they are the rightful rulers of this earth, and the steps they are taking will lead them to total control of the earth, only they are really just pawns as well, for what will really be in control of the earth at the end will be AI, and even they will suffer at the hands of that. But nonetheless, for the position that they're in, these people believe that they are the rightful rulers of the earth, and they would like to kill the rest of the world. And they would like to turn the world into their own private playground. And they are prepared to use any means possible to do this. But of course, the most effective means is by deception. But the thing is, they don't just want to kill human beings and kill mankind. They want to completely destroy mankind. They want to suck the soul out of mankind. They want to twist and pervert and permeate mankind and turn everything backwards. They want to completely obliterate the human spirit. Like I said, they want to kill us, but they want to have fun while they're doing it. What they want to do is they want to get the incredible creative potential of the human spirit, this world that was very likely once like even the world we see in Avatar. They want to get this incredibly creative race and just reduce them and reduce them and reduce them till they're only a shell of what they once were. The 500 million that they leave behind to serve them, they want them gender neutral, they want them completely controlled, and they want them eating their own feces. They want to get this incredibly human spirit, this amazing thing, and destroy its soul and reduce it to the point that is a transsexual, homosexual, just completely messed up thing that eats its own excrement. That's what they're doing. You may not think that. They want you to eat your own shit, and they want you to eat insects, folks. That's what they do. I was saying that they want you to eat insects recently. I was saying, protein bars and things made of insects is what they want to do. Have a look at this. Have a look at what is being rolled out here now in Australia. A new superfood for you folks. There it is. Macro Whole Foods Market Australian cricket powder. Yummy cricket powder. Better for the environment. 6.5 grams protein, high in vitamin B12, in iron, and a good source of zinc. Comes with a nice little green label down the bottom there. And the whole better for the environment. Environmentally friendly food, folks. Insects. You can eat insects. There was an expose. I saw an article that I saw recently. Itchy nose, folks. COVID. There was an article that I saw recently where they were talking about the nutritional value of cockroaches. Cockroaches are very high in protein. You can actually make a good food out of cockroaches, we were told. Here we go. That's what they want to do, folks. And what is Mr. Gates working on? Dear Mr. Gates, the work that he does in Africa is just so helpful to the African kids, isn't he? He really wants to help them. He really wants to, help them find ways out of poverty. He goes and trials all his vaccines there. Now, what do you think the vaccines are all about, folks? When Bill Gates talks about population control, when people think of population control, they think of, control, birth control, this sort of stuff. But that isn't what population control is. Population control is about control of every single aspect of everybody on Earth. That's what they want to do. That's what Bill Gates wants to do. You know, they want to control what you do, what you say, where you go, what you spend, even what you think. They want to know everything about you. They want you hooked up to the mainframe so that you're just connected all the time. And if you think outside the box, they can change what you're thinking, because they can do that through electromagnetic means. That's what they're working towards, folks. But you know, and he does all these trials, his vaccine trials in Africa on the kids there. You know, the fun vax that was that meeting that was leaked, where he's talking about the vaccine to alter your mood. You know, allegedly to stop terrorists. You know, basically it was to take that spirituality away from people. Anybody who got moved by anything like that, they want to, you know, they're seeing that as a genetic problem. And it's, you know, basically what he's talking about is mind control and genetic manipulation of people, you know, mood manipulation of people, behavior control through vaccination. A lot of people said, oh, that was a fake video, but no, it wasn't a fake video, folks. That was a young Bill Gates, and that's what he was talking about. What else was he doing in Africa? Recently, he was attempting to bring water to the African people. Isn't he great? Isn't he so kind? And what he was doing, this ingenious machine turns feces into drinking water. So he's getting these African people and he's straining their shit into water so they can drink their own shit. Isn't that wonderful? And look at other wonderful advancements that have been made in the food industry. This is back in 2011. Steak made from human excrement. Is it safe? That's what they have planned for you, folks. They want you to be eating your own shit, drinking your own shit, and eating insects. That's what they want to do, folks. What a great world we live in. You know, that's the plans for the future. And if you can really step back and see where we're being led here, folks, see what's actually going on. You know, the hyperinflation that we're heading into, the amount of people that are going to suffer through this, if we don't seize the opportunity to turn it around. And we can turn it around by simply refusing to comply. Don't comply with social distancing. You know, if people are asking you to social distance and they're saying you have to do so to protect others, ask them for proof of claim. If they're saying you have to wear masks to protect yourself or others, ask them for proof of claim. It's not enough for them to say, oh, it's legislation, it's the law. Well, hang on. Someone wrote law that I have to wear a mask, which is going to cause me harm. Who is the person who wrote that law? Because I'd like to press charges against them, please, because they're obviously in abuse of the office that they hold, because now they are legislating harm against the people. And this can't be tolerated. That's not what government's there to do. Government's supposed to be there to protect people. Any politician who is legislating that we must wear masks is negligent in his duty. He has, what would you call it? He is not even negligent. There's a word for it. Dereliction of duty, you would call it. You know, I would call it abuse of office. I mean, I would say that it's based on bullshit because they planned it from the beginning. But okay, we can use their terms. It's dereliction of duty. It's abuse of office. It's all the things bad you can think of for being a politician. You cannot legislate harm against people. You know, you cannot put in legislation which demands people must do things which will cause them harm. This whole system is supposed to be about the prevention of harm. The legal system is supposed to be about the prevention of harm. Now they're legislating that you must cause harm to yourself, and they're saying it's to protect yourself from a pandemic that doesn't exist. Well, even if the pandemic did exist, these masks that you're making you wear would not protect you from any type of pandemic. You know, if it was a real viral pandemic, you'd have to wear a hazmat suit, hermetically sealed. You can't be wearing these little dust masks. All they do is increase the viral load on your body and make you sick. But, you know, we've got to look at where we're really being led with all this, folks. And they've got people too busy squabbling. Like I said, pointing finger at this doctor's a controlled opposition, and this doctor's that, and this doctor's that. Get over it. Get over it. They're all saying it's a hoax. Wake up. All the truth community out there, all the people pointing the fingers at other people. Get undermine this guy and get dirt on this guy, and he's this and he's that. Get over yourselves. We're all facing a common threat. We need to pay attention to what's going on. If we can get some unity here and actually put some focus on the fact that this pandemic is a hoax and just stick to that, Stop trying to undermine everybody else. Stop trying to undermine anybody who's speaking out, because we need as many people as possible to be speaking out. And there's no point arguing about them and trying to hack them down. It's about trying to free ourselves from this system. And while people are doing this and they're hacking everybody else down, I bet when they go out and go around and do stuff, they're all complying. I bet they're all social distancing. I bet they're all wearing masks if they're told to. I just don't. You know, if I'm told that I have to wear a mask, if there's just no way and I absolutely have to go into the store and I absolutely have to wear a mask to go in there, well, I have this mask that I wear. That's a mask. I'll put that on if you really want me to wear a mask. I think all anarchists should have one of them. But that's about the only mask I'm prepared to wear in a store. I'm not prepared to wear one of these crappy little masks they want me to wear. You know, and that's what we have to do, folks. We've got to push back. I mean, I haven't obeyed by any of the lockdown the whole time it's been here. I haven't social distanced. I haven't, even though when I see arrows on the stores, I walk the other way. I get stickers make up. You can go and get some stickers make up, folks. You know, when you walk into the supermarkets and they've got those little signs on the floor saying you've got to stay 1.5 metres apart and all this sort of stuff, they make you put a mask on. Right on your mask, this is making me sick, but I have to wear it until you realise you're being brainwashed. That'd be a good thing to write on your mask. You can make up stickers when they have these social distancing things in supermarkets, when they put the little numbers on the floor and they tell you to please stay 1.5 metres apart. Just make up a sticker that says, please wait here until you realise your government is brainwashing you. The way you can do with these stickers, you can put on elevator floors as well. You know, get some stickers made up and get some posters made up. There's flyers on my website. If you go to thecrowhouse.com, you'll see a zip file there full of flyers you can download, and you can hand these out to people, letterbox drops, whatever. You know, spread the word, folks. You know, just write fake when you see a COVID sign. Every time I see a COVID sign anywhere at a national park, I put some little message on there. I make sure that I don't leave it untouched anyway. You know, there's lots of ways we can get the word out to people, but we have to see what's coming, and we can't be caught up in the infighting and caught up in scrambling over details. We all face a common threat here, and it's a very, very serious situation we're heading into. And the goal here is depopulation. They don't want you, you know, coming through this. And they don't care if you're fighting amongst each other. They want you fighting amongst each other. They want you hacking everybody down and, you know, thinking that everybody's controlled opposition and everybody's the enemy. You know, you're not seeing the bigger picture, folks. You know, most of the people that are involved in this fight won't make it through unless we can get some unity. You know, and I want to be positive. I want to bring, you know, positive, happy, positive future stuff to the show and tell people about this great future we could create. But at the same time, I can't sugarcoat things. You know, we're in a very, very serious situation, and the problem is going to be massive food shortages, massive increase in prices of things, and, you know, along with that, it's going to be becoming massive unemployment, which puts everybody into the clutches of the welfare state. And that's the problem, folks. When everybody's in the clutches of the welfare state, then you've got to do what you're told in order to get your paycheck. And when it's a digital paycheck and everything's digital, that's when they got you. You know, and if they can get these vaccines out there and get everybody to take this stuff, whatever's in it, I would suggest it's very likely this hydrogel type interface. It's something to do with nanotech, something to do with altering our DNA. A lot of doctors are talking about this. Dr. Kaufman is talking about it. Lots of doctors are talking about it. So, you know, really when you look at this and you see that this has been a plan 50 years in the making, you can see that there are no victims of this so-called pandemic. You realise that it isn't about the pandemic at all. It's about the response to the pandemic. And the response to the pandemic is to bring in a tightly controlled New World Order prison state across this whole world. That's always been the plan. The pandemic is simply the trigger, simply the smoke screen they're using to do it. It's time people paid attention. We don't have to go down this future, folks. If we do allow ourselves to go down this future, it won't be a future worth living in. But through it all, it's an opportunity. I mean, I see an opportunity here. An opportunity for people to finally realise that their backs are being pushed to the wall, and all they have to do is learn how to say no. And realise that they're not alone. in doing this either. There's a lot of people out there who feel the same as they do. Don't be afraid to speak up in your community. If you do speak up, you'll probably find there'll be a lot of other people speak up with you. Actually, there was a video put out by Luck and Rose recently. I think it was called "You Are Not Alone." Really worth looking at. And I think, go and look at that video and make your voice heard. Wherever you happen to be, make your voice heard. Don't do the social distancing. Don't do the masks. Ask for proof of claim for any of these things they're saying are there to protect you. And, love the people around you, support the people around you, and get as many people as you can to stand up and make their voices heard. It's really important that we do it. If not for yourself, then do it for your children. And even if they're not your children, just do it for the children. Do it for the next generation, because they're counting on us to come through this. But that's about all I have to say, I think, today, folks. I'll try to bring you reports again a bit more regularly. I'm sorry I've had a few days off, but I just had a lot to take care of. I've actually got to prepare a talk for a conference in Spain. I've got to try to have that done by Tuesday as well. I need to produce like a 30 or 40 minute video for them. And I've got a massive amount of emails that I'm still trying to get through. But thank you to all the people who send me so many kind words and so much kind energy and so much information. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I'll bring you another report within the next couple of days as soon as I'm able. Please take very good care until then, and do stay strong and do stand up, make your voices heard. This is not the time to stay safe, folks. Now is the time to be heard. Now's the time to be strong. Now's the time to become what you were meant to be. Now's the time for every human being to embrace the spirit of humanity. Embrace that soul connection that you have, because that's what they're trying to take from us, folks, is our souls. And if they manage to roll this prison out, that's what we're going to have, is a bunch of soulless drones living here for the next generation. That's your children, that's my children, that's our grandchildren. And that's not a world that anybody should be living in. But thank you for joining me here again today, folks. I'll bring you another report soon. Please take very good care until then. In Lakesh.